All right. How's everybody doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. It's coffee for anyone who would like some coffee.
I stopped at Starbucks. I went to the credit union and made the deposit to the church.
Boy, you've been active this morning.
What, you got coffee going on?
We do have coffee going on.
I guess I could learn how to use my iPad.
Yeah.
I'm doing measurements for the doors for insulation and that, and I'm trying to get the bottom plates for 2 doors over there. So
Awesome.
took my surgery off.
Question.
Yes.
Question. Ever
Yes.
since I downloaded the newest version,
Yes.
some of my icons are dark. What does that mean? Shaded.
That typically means that they're updating in the App Store. Yeah, see, it's stuck updating.
I get that all the time. Is there a reason for that?
Bad internet connection. There you go. They should. So yeah, if an app is ever dimmed out like that, that means that it's trying to update. And when an app's currently in the process of updating, you can't use it, whether it's your phone or your tablet. And so that's what it was. And it was, for whatever reason, I've had it happen before. Sometimes it's a simple matter of telling it to stop, which you can do by going to the you go to the App Store, and then you go to the updates on the far right over here.
Okay.
And then, of course, these all stay open because they're complete. But what it'll show is it'll show a little stop button, a little stop icon, the square, with a progress bar. And usually the progress bar hasn't gone anywhere. And so you just press stop. And then you can restart it
Okay.
by clicking update, or if you have multiple, man, this connection's not sticking very well. You can click update all, and it'll start updating all of the updates that you have available on your phone or your tablet.
Because I'd never had this happen, until the updated the system.
Yeah, and maybe they were trying to update when the system updated, and so it kind of froze them.
Okay.
So that could have been, I don't know, but that that could be a possible explanation for it.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
That was an easy one.
Yeah, so all you have to do is just click the stop button and restart it. And if it keeps hanging up like that, try turning your device, either restarting it or turning it into airplane mode and then back off so that it reconnects to the Wi-Fi or the cell signal.
Okay.
Because there might be, every so often things don't communicate right. And so you just need to break and restart that connection. And that typically fixes it. I had to do that with my my laptop this morning. I turned it on and it still said that it was Saturday when I was writing my sermon. And so I was trying to do get the broadcast ready for today's class, and it said you have to pick a day today. And I said, well, the little tab automatically when you create a new episode says today. Well, I didn't realize that today was still Saturday, so you can't create something that happened in the past apparently. So no Back to the Future as of yet. So anyway, yeah, so there's sometimes breaking that connection, restarting it for multiple reasons too. If Safari's not working, if your weather's not updating. I've had this issue before, which didn't this time actually, but I've had an issue in the past where, I've gone to California or Arizona, or we were down in Mexico on vacation. And when you come back, your weather app or your maps app on your devices still think that you're down in Mexico.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
Yeah, and so sometimes either rebooting the phone or device, your laptop, tablet, whatever have you, rebooting it, or breaking that connection by putting it on airplane mode so that it has to intentionally refine the new tower, and then when it does that, it notices that the tower you're at is in near Olympia, Washington, and then it'll hopefully relocate your weather and your app, your maps and things like that. So
I had my phone freeze up on me, and I went into the Verizon store, and she showed me how to do a soft boot.
mm-hmm. Do you have the
She says
iPhone?
It solves
Yeah.
like 99.9%
Solves a lot of issues. Yep.
of problems, and it did.
Yep. Soft reset works for the phone or the tablet, and it's you hold the home button down and the lock button that's on the side of your device or the top of your device at the same time, and you just keep holding it until you see the Apple logo reappear, and that's a soft reset. And it resets your cell connection, and it resets all of your devices.
It was nice to know that you thought it though. That sounds good.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. It should be. It's on the top of the device right there.
Oh, okay, so you just hold that in?
Yep, you hold that and the home screen at the same time. It's about 10 seconds, but they always say the safest thing is to just do it till you see the Apple logo
So what's the
reappear.
home screen thing?
The home button is the physical button on the front of your device over
That's
on
what you said over here.
that one
that one.
and that one at the same
Oh,
time
okay.
for 10 seconds. Holding down the lock button, which is the one on the top,
Here, no.
there, yeah. Either locks your device so that you don't accidentally touch it, or if you hold it down, that's how you turn your device off. Otherwise, it's just locked. It's still on, it's still running, but locked so you don't accidentally butt dial someone. Like my nephew did while I was on vacation. We saw him, and so he was texting me, and then at Disneyland, he butt dialed me while he was in school. It was pretty great. So that way you don't butt dial people.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of downloading iOS, not,
Yep. 9.0.2.
okay, I get about there, about halfway,
Mm-hmm.
and that's as far as it goes. I've tried, this thing keeps telling me how to download it. They're
Mhm.
pushing,
Right.
and it's like I've been 2 hours trying to download this. It gets to about there, and then I won't say it quits, but it seems like
kinda
it
hangs.
stops there.
Yeah.
And I'm on my third or fourth of it right now, trying to download it. Is it what I'm doing or what it's doing here?
Sometimes, if you're leaving it alone and letting it do its thing, then it's probably on Apple's side of things. But also, when you get about 3/4 of the way, it switches from the word downloading to installing. And so if you notice that it's not saying downloading anymore and it's saying installing,
Oh, no,
then it's doing something different. And so it kind of hangs there for a while.
no, it just sits right there, downloading.
Right up top too, though, it'll say downloading approximately, right
Well,
where
it
your
says
finger-
10 minutes.
Right.
But it's been jumping between 10 minutes
Well,
and an
yeah.
hour. Like it's been doing that forever. And
Yeah, and that just depends on the speed of the internet you're connected to. Depending on whether it takes 10 minutes, an hour, 5 hours. Just depends on how fast the internet connection is at your location, or even, at home. Sometimes my internet's fast, sometimes it's slow. It just depends. So if it keeps doing that, I would then call Apple and say that I've tried, and it just hangs at whatever, 75%. It doesn't tell you, but you can guess.
Well, right now it went from an hour to 15 minutes to 8 minutes, then it went less, and then it went back to 8 or 9 when you looked at it. Now I'm at 5, like it does that,
Yeah, well, that's,
and then it quits, and I can't remember, like I said, about a little bit more whereabouts, like maybe about where my finger is.
Yeah.
So about another half an inch.
If it keeps doing that, I would call Apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in calling Apple, do I go through Apple I have here, or do I go Apple High?
I don't think you can, there's no button on your device that, well, I think you can click on call Apple on there, but it's still a phone call.
Oh, a real
It
phone
just,
call.
yeah, it still takes you to a way to call them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I used to be able to do phones on here, but I lost that. I didn't realize it was a limited length of time on it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. This
Yeah.
I pay $50 or $60.
Yeah. So I would do that.
Okay.
And yeah, but as far as downloading, your internet speed varies for any of us. And, something will say it'll take approximately an hour, and then it jumps up and down, and that just depends on how much data is flowing at that moment.
Mhm.
I've got a game platform where I get all my games from right here. I don't have that. Let me pull it up real quick just to show you. That might be. Let's see here. I don't know if I'll be able to find it because I don't know if any games are going to update. But anyway, the reason why I like this is because it actually tells you what your download speed is, and so you can see it jump up and down. And so it's never
like mine does right here.
Oh, here we go, downloads. Yeah, but see, it actually tells you how many bytes you're getting at that exact moment. So you can see, and then you see the time jump up and down. The more, if I'm getting 5 megabits per second, then my time is going to be 10 minutes. If it jumps down to 4, it's going to jump up to 15 or 20 minutes. And so you can see the internet speed varying up and down and things like that. And because the internet's never constant.
No.
Just like a river, it ebbs and flows. And so that's just helpful to keep in mind when you see those numbers jump. From you're like, well, it just said 5 minutes and now it's saying 25. Well, now there's more traffic. Other people are, because all of our internet, even though it's your internet at home, you're still shared. The public part of it is still being shared, and so your speeds vary. Which, if you ever call companies and you're angry about that, then that's exactly what they'll tell you is that, well, that's your true speed, but your speed always varies depending on the time of day. And all of that.
Yeah.
In the evenings when people are home and watching Netflix, your internet at home is going to be a lot slower because everyone's home watching Netflix, and that takes a lot of data.
See, this works good at 1 o'clock in the morning at home
Oh yeah,
because I'm
Yeah,
assuming
most
everybody's
people
in
are
bed.
majority of people are probably asleep. Yep. Any other questions?
So when you were down in Mexico,
Yes.
what did you do to prepare with your systems? How did you-
I didn't prepare ahead of time, but the house that we stayed at had Wi-Fi. So I just about a half hour before we got to the border, and whether it's Mexico or Canada, because it's up here, we're close to Canada. Before you get to the border, not like 2 minutes, but a good half hour before you get to the border, unless you have paid for international roaming ahead of time as a special feature, flip your phone and devices into airplane mode. Because otherwise you'll get charged roaming charges, and data is ridiculously expensive for roaming data, and so is phone calls are expensive as well per minute. So you'd flip your device into airplane mode, and then if you're staying at a hotel or like our place in Mexico had Wi-Fi in the house, then you can leave it in airplane mode and then just turn on your Wi-Fi. So if you, let's see if it'll work. Yeah. So you'd push that's airplane mode.
Yeah.
And then, so all these things go away, and then you would just tap that Wi-Fi button and your Wi-Fi turns back on. But then you're only connected to Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi is, at the hotel will either be free, complimentary Wi-Fi like Starbucks or McDonald's or what have you, or it'll be, $5.99 a day or something. But once you're connected to Wi-Fi, then you're using the Wi-Fi data and not your cellular data, so you're not going to be charged through the roof for roaming charges being international.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then as far as safety, you know, there's always a risk of being on a public network. But the house that we stayed at in Mexico, if I sat out in the patio, which was, you know, 100 feet from where the actual router was, I had no signal anymore. So I wasn't concerned about someone getting onto our public Wi-Fi at the villa and trying to hack my phone or my tablet, because it was such small range that I wasn't really concerned. So
I was in Canada and I didn't know about doing that. I just never thought about that. I just thought it didn't matter.
Well, is your tablet, does it have cellular? Do you pay a monthly subscription for data?
No.
Then it's not a concern.
When I got it, I had phone service. I could use it as a telephone.
Right.
And that was 2 years. I didn't. They said, well, you get free phone service. So I went, well, that's nice. I have a phone here, and worked everywhere. And I didn't know that when I was in Canada, because I did on that, I don't get a bill.
Right.
Like I never got anything. And I know on my phone, I hit the border and it's goes international in a second. And you know, and across the border it just doesn't work. And to get it in Canada, if I'm in Vancouver, they want $29 for 15 days, I think, or 10 days, I can't remember. And if I wanted, and if I'm in where my property is up in the interior, when I can get it, which is even a bigger issue, it's like $99 and it's 10 days. Like it just, the prices are insane.
Yeah, international is extremely expensive, which is why it's nice to have things like FaceTime. And with your phones, if you do go international, you can, I know we've talked about this before, but it's good to just remember, you can go to your FaceTime app and you can make audio calls if you're connected to Wi-Fi. So it's FaceTime audio. So it's using the Wi-Fi signal. So it's only if you're connected to Wi-Fi. But if you're traveling internationally and you don't want to use, pay the exorbitant rates of international plan, then if you're connected to a Wi-Fi network, again, your hotel or villa or wherever you're staying, then you click on FaceTime, click on audio, and it's basically a phone call. But again, it has to be someone who has to have a Apple device. That's the limitation, but the great side of it is that you can make phone calls basically free. Or Skype, if you know lots of people have Skype, then it doesn't have to be another Apple device. So you've got options if you are traveling internationally.
Okay, my sister has an Apple phone. That means I can marry my iPad to her phone that way?
Yeah, using either your iMessage, your texting app, or FaceTime, which is like Skype for Apple devices. So
I don't know what that is. I know. I was here before, and I know you talked about that, but I don't come here enough to stay in your space.
Right. So you know what Skype is?
Yeah, I have an account with them too.
Yeah. So FaceTime is basically the same thing. You're talking to someone visually. You're seeing their face at the same time.
But that's on Apple though.
That's on Apple devices.
Okay.
Yep. It's their proprietary way of communicating.
Well, I bought her this phone because she kept moaning about no service where she lives. So I got her an Apple phone, and it gives her service. And but then her granddaughter, I think, takes the phone most of the time, and she never sees it. And her granddaughter won't talk to me. I'm apparently
That happens.
Do you
Yes.
have an agenda item?
Yeah. Are there any other questions before we start? No, Mark and I chatted before class and we have options. You've got options to do what you need to do. Well, perfect.
Options are good.
Yeah. So he's got 3 options to figure out how he wants to do that. All right. So yeah, one of the things that we talked about before I left for my trip was because I had randomly talked about podcasts and that I listened to different kinds of podcasts while I.
Yeah, we mentioned that. We didn't know what it was.
Yeah, so basically it's pre-recorded. It's pre-recorded internet talk shows. So, you know, if you listen to NPR or different things like that, those are, you know, different types of talk shows and programming that's out there. So podcasts are, you know, any kind of subject that you want. So this is the podcast app, which comes with your Apple device, and they've got podcasting apps for Android devices as well. And so you can pick whichever one you want. And even, for example, you don't have to do this because it'd probably be easier to just use the built-in one. But I actually use this other one called Instacast. Is my preferred podcasting app.
So you downloaded that?
Yeah, as a third-party application. But so right here is this is the featured, and then you've got top charts. And so you can search, and you can type, if you know the name of the podcast, you can just type in the name of the podcast. Or if you just want to search a topic, you know.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, NPR, they're always saying streaming.
Yes.
Streaming. Every announcer. Is that what they're meaning?
No, so podcasts are pre-recorded.
Oh.
Streaming means at the moment. So what you can do for that, Sandy, is you go to the App Store and you download the NPR radio app.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what they mean by streaming.
Some of them are recorded and some are written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
No, that's fine.
Podcast.
But you can look. NPR has a bunch of podcasts as well.
Okay.
Because NPR has their different subjects,
Right.
or segments.
Right.
And so you can listen to those specific segments if you have preferred segments. Some of them are on here.
Oh,
So Car Talk,
yeah.
Planet Money,
Okay.
all
Oh,
songs
yeah,
considered.
Planet
Yeah.
Money. Okay.
So then you can download those and listen to specific segments.
Oh, good.
So like
Okay.
like Planet Money. So we'll just use this one as our example.
Okay.
You can click the subscribe button, which
Okay.
means that you are now, it simply means that you're now following, in terms of Facebook and Twitter, you're now following NPR Planet Money. And what it'll do is it'll download, anytime there's a new episode, it'll download it to your device when you're connected to Wi-Fi. And then you can then go to Unplayed, which again, I don't use this app anymore, and so I don't have anything, but in this list here will be all of the different things you subscribe to that you haven't listened to yet.
Okay. Now go back. And where did you find that?
You just
Right.
hit the little button.
Oh,
So there's your little menu across the bottom. So we
Okay.
were in search,
Okay. Right.
and let's just do that. So we'll click subscribe.
Okay.
We're now subscribed to it, and now it's automatically downloading the newest episode. So Unplayed, it's now got the newest one. And it came out on Friday. It's 16 minutes long, and then there's kind of the synopsis of what the episode's about.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, and then you just click on it, and it plays it like an audiobook.
Oh, okay. I get stuff for NPR on my email.
Yep.
And I try to play the stuff either on my phone or on here, and it'll start, and then it stops, and it just doesn't go any further. Is that because of my device, the way I brought it in, or is that something else?
If it didn't download, it might be trying to pull it from the internet constantly. And so if you don't have a constant signal, it may not be able to play it smoothly. So
Well,
that
I
might be-
mean, it doesn't work for 10 minutes.
yeah, well,
I mean, I'm just speaking,
Right.
like, it's like not like blurbing its way along. There is nothing.
mhm.
And I just end up by shutting it off. They had
Yeah.
some, earlier back, a couple of weeks ago, they had a discussion on, they were talking religion, and I can't remember all of it, but the blurb was sort of the what if pertaining to Jesus, and it kind of went that way. And I wanted to listen to it, when I was sitting at McDonald's over here.
Mhm.
And it started to, they got into it. And then, sorry. Good morning, Richard speaking. Hey, Dirk, can I phone you back later? I'm in church
Do
right
they
now.
charge you for these? Or are they-
Nope.
they're free?
Nope. They're free.
So when I ask you to do it, you're not.
What? Are you wishing me happy birthday
You're not
first?
subscribing to anything paid. A lot of these will have.
Because it showed my Apple ID, I was just confused.
Yeah. No, it's not gonna.
It's not gonna try to charge.
Nope.
me.
A lot of these people make money. The way they make money is they will find. I don't know what's going on with my connection, but anyway, a lot of them will make money by finding sponsors of their own, and so they'll have one of the podcasts I listen to is what's it called? Anyway, it's a tech podcast, and at the top of the show, they'll mention all the sponsors that are sponsoring the show that episode, and then every like 20 minutes or so, they'll then take a break, and he'll talk to you about one of those sponsors
I see.
for about a minute and a half.
So
And then
it's a
there's
commercial break.
basically a commercial break, and you can, if you want, you can fast forward through it or you can listen to it. There's other things like one of the other ones that I listen to, which is about a video game that I play. They have a Patreon website, and basically you would, so you don't actually pay for the podcast, but you can go to that Patreon website, to their page of Patreon, and subscribe to them.
Excellent.
Basically saying,
And make it-
I like this content, I'm willing to support it financially. But that's completely, and they say it every time. They say, you can go to our Patreon page and subscribe for $5 a month, but you don't have to. The show's always going to be free because they also have their regular sponsors, and then they get even more money. They're getting like $2,000 a month from people who have said, I appreciate this content, and have gone to the Patreon website and pledged $5 a month. It's kind of like NPR does their
Yes.
their pledge, but this is just ongoing. And so they just mention it each episode and then leave it at that. There's never a big like pledge drive, and they've been able to support themselves. In fact, one of the hosts, she posted on Twitter saying, I just turned in my resignation for my part-time job that I had because this podcast is going so well that I don't have to
Oh, cool.
do my part-time job anymore, and she loves this way more than what she was doing to
And
supplement her income.
It plays like an audiobook, so I just put it like on speaker and
Yeah, you can put it on speaker, or my car has Bluetooth, and so I can listen to it through Bluetooth. Becca's car has an auxiliary cable. Sandy has auxiliary cable. Before auxiliary cable, Sandy had a disc player. And so for like $5 at Walmart or Freddy's, you can buy it's a little adapter, and so it's a disc player, or it looks like a regular old cassette tape, and you plug that in, then you plug it in the audio jack of your device, and then it'll play it through the car.
Right.
So
for years.
yeah,
Do they make that for CD players?
not for CD players. No, I don't think that would. I don't think it translates well. But somehow, because it's a tape and it spins for the cassettes, they were able to make an adapter for it. So yeah, so if you don't have an auxiliary plug, which is common in more modern cars nowadays, or if it's between the cassette age and the auxiliary jack age, then you're kind of SOL.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Now, but with my Chrysler, for example, or both my Harley and both my Gold Wings, of course they're older. Can I take and wire into that some device to make it for?
Yeah, well, if you're on a motorcycle, you can always put in a headphone in one ear.
Well, I have mine I have Bluetooth and I have
Oh,
plug-in
then
for both of mine.
your phone has Bluetooth, and so you just connect it via Bluetooth. You would pair it with your. Of course, I don't know why this isn't working, but you would go to Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And then you would
do
pair
search
it
or
with
something.
your.
Yeah.
You would sync or pair it however you want to.
Yeah.
So that's how you would do that, and then it would work through the speakers of that.
Because when if I take with my Goldwing, or either with my Harley or my Goldwing, if I go to Canada, for whatever reason, I can make it work there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure why, but I can't make it work here.
Hmm.
I mean, I can drive, if I come across a truck crossing, well, if I come across the border on this side of the mountains,
Yeah.
I can make it to Ferndale or thereabouts, about 15 miles. And then it gets sketchy,
Mhm.
then quits. It's done.
Yeah. It
And
must be some kind of signal distortion there.
oh, okay.
Yeah. If it's connected via Bluetooth, it should just work. And if it somehow starts crackling out and canceling, then there's some kind of distortion or disturbance in the signal causing a.
So I searched for something.
Yep.
And then it shows the different ones, but it has this little cloud with an arrow down on there.
That means that it's on the server, not on your device. So there's two different ways to listen to episodes. You can so if you subscribe, it'll automatically, you can change it in your settings, but it'll automatically download the latest one, which is what we see here. Or if you just want to maybe preview something, you're not sure if you want to subscribe it, then you can just click on that episode, not the cloud. And as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi or your cell signal, then you can listen to that episode streaming.
Okay.
And so that way you can preview it, or you can download it if you wanted to preview it also without subscribing to it. And then that way you can listen to it whether you do or do not have cell service or Wi-Fi service.
So streaming is live then?
Yeah, meaning you're using your data. Yeah, you're using your data. Well, it's not live. It just means that you're using your data to listen to it as opposed to downloading it ahead of time. So if you happen to lose, what?
Isn't that still data?
Yeah, it is still data, but if you're at home and you're using Wi-Fi, then you're not using your cell phone's data plan.
Oh.
Which is, for most people, is very limited. And so you'd want to, I want to listen to these 5 podcasts or audiobooks or etc. While I'm on the road. So you download them at home onto your device.
Right.
And then they physically take up space. Yeah.
So if I just subscribed and I listened to it for 5 months and I decide that I don't like it, is it pretty easy to delete off?
Yeah, so this one we're subscribed to. So then the next one next to Unplayed is My Podcast. So there it is right there. You just swipe from the right to the left and then delete. I'm no longer subscribed.
Easy squeezy. That's cool. I like it. That's fun.
So yeah, so you can search by topic. You can look at featured. You can look at the top charts. So basically, what are the most subscribed podcasts? Which it's not loading. Interesting.
Why isn't it loading for you? Because you know what you're doing. Not to sound silly, but I mean, you know what you're doing.
Well, yeah, it's either their servers or the Wi-Fi. It looks like the Wi-Fi might not be.
But that was fast too.
See, I get that sometimes where it won't do, like you're saying, you can't make it happen.
Yep.
And
Yep. So normally, when that happens, the first thing I'll try is just sticking it into airplane mode and then turning it back off again to break that signal and reconnect it. And then if that doesn't work, then I do a soft reset.
which is push that button over here
and the home button
on that one too.
Yeah, at the same time. Yeah, I'm not getting. Let's see if I'm getting. You can look at my tracking information for my package coming. Oh, that worked. So there might be something up with the podcast app right now that I'm not getting. So we were working, but that's the basics of it. You search for, a topic, or if you know of, please, thanks. Or if you know of a specific podcast that you listen to.
And the built-in podcast app in iOS 9 is called
Podcasts. Yep. And it looks like the one in the middle right there.
Okay.
So, and then again, I use Overcast. I like it, but it's also more complicated. It's not quite as simple as the built-in one.
Then is that cost money to download?
It's free. They have in-app purchases to unlock different things.
Does it get a lot
what
of
does
those
that mean?
commercial things?
No, the app does not have any ads or anything whatsoever. But in-app purchases are, so oftentimes the apps that you download may be free, but then if you want to unlock premium content inside of it, that's an in-app purchase. So a lot of apps will have, a lot of weather apps will be free, but then they'll run advertisements around the screen. And then you can, for an in-app purchase, you can remove the ads permanently so that you don't ever see those ads again, because that's how they make their money, is through those advertisements.
Because some of my apps go like going along and then all of a sudden you get this commercial and it kind of like locks
Yes,
up the whole
it locks
screen
up the
and
whole-
exit out.
Yep.
And then you gotta read it. It drives me crazy.
So that's what you're talking about. You can buy a service that stops that?
Per app, though, and not all of them have that. Some of them
That's
you're stuck with it.
Well,
But what I'm talking about for this one is this offers greater content.
well, NPR sometimes, and I don't know if you've been doing NPR, and I've had this both on this and my phone, and you get, just like you were saying, you get the commercial comes in and then you're carried, and then it stops right there. And so I shut it off, turn it back on with my phone, and it still sticks there. Is that what you're talking about?
Kinda.
Yeah. So does that still come underneath because of the internet speed you're doing it with, or is that something else? What she's referencing there, where you get stuck on that page, on that.
Oh, no, that's that. It's not you're stuck on the page. It's that the advertisement takes up the entire screen.
Yeah.
And so then you have to,
go to this X
there's
thing.
this little,
Yes,
basically hidden X
Exactly.
that you have
With
to
your-
find
Yeah, with your
and then you have
stylus
to-
or your
yes.
finger.
and
Yeah.
touch. So basically, they're
They're
offering you the app
interrupting
for
your
free, but
program.
they're interrupting whatever you're doing to
Also,
make their money.
like it says like
To offer the app for free.
in my app store, like there's this 4 here.
That means you've got 4 updates.
Right. But what if I don't want to update them?
Then you just
I just
keep ignoring that 4.
Just ignore them.
It's
That's
not
all
gonna
I was
ever-
asking.
It's not going to ever
go away.
disappear.
I see.
Just like if there's if you have an old iPhone 4 or 4S and they want you to update to iOS 9, that little 1 in the settings app is going to always be there.
When you downloaded it, they sent a fix for me, but when I downloaded the latest version, when I tried to do text messaging, it
Mhm.
like blocked out, like I couldn't see what I was typing. Did that happen to you?
Not me, but I heard about that. The one that Becca is still experiencing is on the calendar app.
Uh-huh.
She has to double tap dates for them to open up and show her what is happening that day. Instead of just tapping once, she has to tap it and then double tap to get it. And she did a Google search and found out there's a whole bunch of people with that problem. Not everyone. Mine doesn't do it.
That's nice.
But in the 2 updates they've released since iOS 9 came out, hasn't addressed that issue. So yeah, they're still working on bugs. 9.1, which will be the next one, is in its 5th stage of beta, which means I think they usually have 5 stages of beta per release. So it's probably gonna come out in the fairly near future, which may resolve hopefully a lot of issues.
And is there a reason why like it keeps stuff from like 2013?
For texts
No, on your calendar.
on your calendar, your calendar is going to go back as far as you've ever done stuff.
Okay, so but it doesn't take up any memory. Or
Not much, no.
anything. I don't really need to keep what I did in 2012.
No. But it remembers.
But it remembers
It
what
does.
I did.
It
I guess it'd be
remembers what you did.
helpful.
Yep. So yeah, it does that. as far as text messages, you can either manually delete them,
Yeah.
or there's a new feature that only keeps the last 30 days worth,
Oh.
which can be helpful because one thing people weren't realizing was how much data, because of pictures and videos, how much data pictures and videos were taking up on your computer, on your device, phone or tablet, because they were sitting in your messages app, because it's still a part of your device. So I had, I think before iOS 8, which is when I think they released that feature, didn't realize I had 6 gigs of data in my iMessage app because of all the pictures and videos that my family and friends and I have shared back and forth.
Yeah.
So I turned on the feature that says delete messages that are 30 days old or more.
I'm getting lots of pictures of the new great-granddaughter, so, yeah.
Yep. So yeah. So even if you don't click on, because you can click save to your camera roll, even if you don't do that, they're still on your device because it's a part of your messages app. Yeah.
You just taught me something. You can go into a text and click on the picture and send
Yeah.
it to your camera roll?
Yep.
No
So
kidding.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
Becca sent me this. So yeah, if you click and hold, you can copy, you can save it. So you just tap with your,
Even on my old
you just,
floor?
yep. You just hold your finger down until that menu comes up,
Right?
and then you just tap save.
Oh, neat.
Yep. And then the more button allows you can tap multiple messages and delete them. Oh, no, I don't want to delete all. So.
Okay, but that's
So.
to save to your camera roll.
Yep.
Okay.
And that'll save it to your camera roll.
Oh, that's really handy.
So then it takes it away from your,
Nope, it's still going to be on the messages app.
But then I can delete.
But then you can delete the message.
and then it takes all of that out of there, but the picture's still over elsewhere.
Yes. Yep. So it's no longer, well, it'll still be unless you delete it. It'll still be in your messages app, but you can then have saved it to your camera roll so that you permanently have it. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dandy, dandy. Thank you.
Okay, this is going to probably be one of these really dumb questions, and I know I talked to you about this before. I forgot my iPad password,
Okay.
and I've done everything I know. I texted to Apple from my Apple thing in here
Mm-hmm.
and said that, and they did not respond because they sent me back and said I needed to put in my password,
Right.
which I did, which was wrong, and I know it's wrong because they sent me a thing said my password was 2 weeks, so
Right. You have to make
they
the new one.
changed it.
Yep.
So I changed it, altering what I had, and I don't remember what it is.
Yeah. So if you go to your app store, it's
I-
probably, well, it may not be the most correct way, but it's the way that I know to do it for sure. Is you go to the app store and you scroll all the way to if you're on the featured page.
Where are you?
So the app store,
Okay,
which is
I gotta move
the little
over here.
creative icon, blue
Okay.
creative icon right here.
So is that where are you?
Then you go there, and then the very first tab says featured on the bottom. A lot
Where
of
are you
there.
pointing at? Oh, here.
The
yeah.
bottom. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there should say Apple ID, and then it should have your email.
Yes, there.
If you click on that, there's a I forgot,
Oh, crap.
and then that's how you do it.
And this is what happens.
Well,
Okay,
then you
well, I'm
just
doing it
follow
right
the
now.
steps.
Okay.
Yep.
Because like I say,
Yes.
they send me this thing, they've done it twice,
Mm-hmm.
and then they sent me a phone number, which was,
Well, yeah,
sorry.
if it still
no,
doesn't,
but I mean, the phone number they send me,
so then you click on your Apple ID,
I
Okay.
can't see this.
and then there's a I forgot.
Oh, good, because Daniel's forgot his.
Yep. So you click on I
Okay.
forgot, then it takes you to
This
Apple's
page.
website,
Oh, great.
Well, give
and
me
then you have
that.
to follow
Okay.
their directions.
I can't see it.
Okay.
What does that say?
Wow.
Apple ID.
So
So enter your email address that your Apple that you use with your Apple account. Yeah, so I'm not sure the podcast is still not pulling up. Oh, is it working now? There we go. So top charts. So there we go. This American Life, TED. There's a lot of TED stuff on there if you're interested in the TED Talks. All kinds of different things.
What's a TED Talk?
They vary, and there's different topics of TED Talks, but they're usually people who are, I don't know, the ones that I've listened to, they're typically people who are working towards change in the world. Some are motivational speakers, some of them are geniuses.
Okay.
This is
our growth.
Yeah, and, you know, the one that I listened to most recently, which was on accident actually, was about this woman who was in the fashion industry, and she had never been over to China with the clothing facilities, and somehow something happened and she had to go there, and so she went and realized how much they took a tour, and she realized how much water and dye and pollution and everything is associated with clothing, and is now developed or developing a way to basically recycle clothing, to break it down like we do with plastics and metals, break it down and then basically recycle and reuse and make brand new clothing out of it. She said it's like something like several hundred gallons of water just to make a batch of t-shirts or a t-shirt, something ridiculous. And so she's working on, and she's working with, because she was in the fashion industry, she's working with fashion companies to try to, or she already had or was pretty confident that they were going to start trying to use this recycling method of, you take your old clothing and you start breaking it down, and so you'll be wearing clothing that has been completely sanitized and reused, but broken down to its base elements and then recreated into new clothing. So those are TED Talks in there. Some of them are quite interesting. Some of them are not so. I mean, it just depends on what you like. Let's see. So look, where is it? This Week in Twit, right here at the bottom. This Week in Tech. So that's the one that I listen to, and they cover all kinds of stuff. It's a weekly broadcast, and actually they have it's a huge company, and they've got a studio in California. You can get free tickets and go and sit and I think it's behind the glass, maybe not, but you can watch them. You can actually have they have a live studio audience, and so you can get free tickets to go watch them as they do their thing live, or as they record live and then listen later on podcast form. So, like they covered a lot of when, who was it that got, which film company was it? Sony that got hacked? Yeah, they covered a lot. They covered a lot of that information through over a couple weeks. Just did little segments on it each time. So, and they've got a website, you can look at that, and they've got different other podcasts. There's one specific to Apple products and one specific to Android products and things like that. So, but I mean, you've got a topic and an interest, there's probably a podcast about it. So it's pretty great.
How big are the files?
Let's find out. I don't think they're that big. I think so this is an hour and 22-minute episode, and it is 113 megabytes. And I don't know about the Apple podcast one, but this Overcast one that I use, you can set some of them to be newspaper style, so that it only keeps the newest episode. So if you didn't listen to last week's episode and the new one pops up, it will delete the old one and just pop up the new one. which is actually what I do with the Twit one, This Week in Tech. I don't always have time to listen to it every week, and so I just, when I have time to listen to it, I listen to whatever's the newest one going on. So it's newspaper style.
Where did you find that? How can you change it to newspaper style?
I don't know if the built-in one does.
Okay.
Let's see.
For example, that one on Planet Money,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah, and see some of those, it's not helpful to. I don't know, the podcast
Oh, yeah,
app. I'm not getting it to work right. Oh, there we go. My podcast. Let's see if we can do this. Settings. Here, yeah, so here you can. All right, so you would click on your different podcasts that you've subscribed to. You click on it, and then you click on the little gear here.
Yep.
And then limit episodes.
Ah.
And it's off, which means it'll just keep piling them on as you don't listen to them, so to speak. So if you haven't listened to it for 4 weeks in a row, there's going to be 4 of them up there. But you can limit it to the most recent, so weekly, assuming it's a weekly podcast, 2, 3, 5, 10. Keep it for a day, a week, 2 weeks, or a month.
Okay.
So you can specify, and that's per subscription. So you could say, well, this one I always want all of them so that I can, no matter how long it takes me to listen to them. And then you can say, this one I only want the newest one up each time. And then, if the old one goes away, that's fine. And then you can always click on the feed, and then you can always download and listen to past episodes. And they all have the title, when they aired, how long they are, and a short description. So you can look back at past ones and say, oh, that one looks interesting, and then download and listen to it. So.
Thanks, Brian.
It's as easy as that.
Yeah.
So there we go. And it's great because then you get to listen to topics that you're interested in, and it can be.
So what's your special thing you were teasing?
Oh my gosh. Let me go get it real quick. I totally forgot.
New purchase?
So you've got an iPad and a laptop,
I do.
both Apple. So are they married?
They're cousins.
No, I don't mean it that way, but are they automatically work to each other?
Yes. Yeah. Although I haven't really pushed that marriage very hard.
Because
I use a laptop.
All right. We're gonna
behind
go ahead.
iPads.